A transatlantic flight, taken in near silence. A prince's face, etched not with grief, but with a cold, focused fury. This wasn't about a funeral or a celebration. This, according to insiders, was an emergency landing prompted by the one line the Sussexes believed would never be crossed. This is Royal Report 24/7, and we are tracking a story that moves from the corridors of power to the sacred space of a child's classroom. The walls have ears, and now, it seems, they've been listening to the most private details of a young boy's life. Subscribe now and hit the bell, because when the safety of a royal child is allegedly breached, the response is never just political, it's primal. Share this video. This is the unwritten rule, shattered. The timeline is precise, and to those watching the royal chessboard, it was deeply telling. Prince Harry was in California, deep in the workings of Archwell. Then, abruptly, his schedule cleared. A private jet was arranged not through the usual, visible channels, but discreetly. He landed in the UK without Catherine, without Meghan, and most tellingly, without any of the trappings of a happy homecoming. His expression, captured by paparazzi, was described by one body language analyst as the posture of a man going to war, not to a reunion. The official line? Private family matters. But within the insular world of royal commentators and those with sources deep inside the palace's media apparatus, a chilling rumor began to circulate. Harry wasn't there to see family. He was there to confront them. The catalyst? A catastrophic and deeply personal leak. According to multiple, unverified reports from sources who claim knowledge of the Sussexes' inner circle, someone within the broader palace network accessed and shared private information regarding Prince Archie's education. We're not talking about which school he attends. That they have occasionally shared themselves. We're talking about the confidential details within academic reports, behavioral notes, perhaps even psychological or learning assessments. The kind of information held in the strictest confidence by any school for any child. The kind of information that in the wrong hands could be weaponized to craft a narrative about a child's development, his adjustment, or his normalcy. Imagine the breach. For Harry and Meghan, whose entire exit was framed around creating a safe and private life for their children, this would represent the ultimate violation. It wasn't an attack on them as individuals, but on their most sacred duty as parents. Insiders suggest the leak was not a front-page splash, but something subtler and more insidious. Details allegedly dripped to a select few loyalist biographers and reporters to be woven into broader, critical narratives about the Sussexes' parenting choices and the stability of their life in California. The message, as interpreted by the Sussex camp, was clear. There are no boundaries. Nowhere is safe. We can reach into the classroom of your son. This, if true, explains Harry's solitary, furious dash to London. This wasn't a matter for lawyers or PR teams alone. This, reports claim, required a face-to-face, raw confrontation. The question is, with whom? There's a historical precedent here that would chill Harry to his core: the life of his own mother. Princess Diana famously believed that her private letters, her phone conversations, and even her most personal vulnerabilities were fodder for palace leaks used to discredit her. Harry has spoken of the pain and suffering of women marrying into this institution. To see what he would perceive as a similar pattern emerging around his own wife and child, targeting his son's school records, would trigger a trauma response of unimaginable magnitude. This wouldn't be about gossip. It would be the resurrection of his deepest family ghost. So, what allegedly happened in those closed-door meetings in London. Reports, filtered through the usual vague channels, suggest a volcanic exchange. Harry is said to have demanded answers, a shutting down of the source, and ironclad guarantees for the future. He is reported to have made it clear that legal action of a severity never before contemplated would be the next step. This would move the conflict from the pages of the tabloids to the chambers of the High Court, a scenario the palace fears above all else. But here is the tragic paradox. Even as Harry might have been seeking assurances, his very presence in the UK, storming into palace offices, would have reinforced the very narrative some may have been trying to push, that of a volatile prince, impulsive, perpetually in crisis. It's a trap. To defend his family's privacy, he must publicly erupt, feeding the cycle. And where's Meghan in this? Reports suggest she remained in Montecito, a deliberate move. Her presence in the UK would have been a media circus, detracting from the grim, focused purpose of Harry's mission. But insiders close to their thinking believe she was the architect of the response. This is the mother lioness, the woman who wrote letters to Parliament about online toxicity. The violation of her child's records would have galvanized her not into tearful pleas, but into a state of cold, strategic rage. Harry was the emissary of that rage. The long-term fallout is where the real damage lies. Trust, already atomized, is now gone. Any lingering hope of a working relationship with the palace is likely incinerated. For Harry, the institution is no longer just unsympathetic. It is actively dangerous to his children. This solidifies the exile. It also potentially radicalizes the Sussex output further. If they believe the palace weaponizes children's secrets, what stops them from revealing even more of what they learned inside? Most hauntingly, it casts a shadow over Archie's entire future. He is a child who will grow up knowing that from his earliest years, his educational journey was considered a piece of intelligence in a Cold War. The pressure on him, and on his parents to shield him, just became infinitely heavier. The palace, of course, maintains a steely silence. They would dismiss this as baseless speculation. But in the absence of official word, we are left with the evidence of actions. A prince flying alone across the world, not for a birthday or a funeral, but for a confrontation. A wall of silence from both camps on the true reason. And a chilling, undeniable truth. In the wars of the Windsors, there have always been casualties. But a breach into a child's classroom suggests the battle lines have been redrawn in the most unforgivable of places, that if you believe that the most significant royal stories are the ones that happen in the shadows, where the real rules are broken and the true cost is paid, then you need to be here. This is the core of our work at Royal Report 24/7. We follow the trails of panic, the journeys taken in anger, and read the truth in what is not said. To stay ahead of this unfolding crisis, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. The war for the narrative has entered its most ruthless phase. Like this video if you understand the gravity of this claim, and share it to spread the word. Where does a family go when the last line of privacy has been crossed? Harry flew back to confront his past, but he may have finally, irrevocably, sealed his future. And we will be here, watching 24/7.